Hello everyone and welcome back to Conquest, where today we're going to be fighting in a river. So this episode I've decided, since we went after a waves sector last time, we should go after an enemy base sector this time. Now there are some pretty hefty bases such as Acropolis. I have heard this is harder than Omega. So we're not doing that today. I need to mentally prepare myself for that. Instead we're going to go after Oasis Delta. I was looking at all of the sector descriptions before the episode, and this one kind of piqued my interest. Separated by a massive river of oasis water, an untouched region lies separated from a huge enemy base. Utilize vesmonium to create high-tier units. Bring this base down. The enemy will fight back with full power. Be prepared. That sounds kind of interesting. So basically, we will have access to all of the technology, unless some of it's banned. I have a feeling that Dresden might be banned here. Otherwise, I feel like they would have said utilize Dresden. So I guess we will find out. And supposedly there's a very large river, which means an ample supply of oasis water for literally everything, which is always good to have. Let's do it. Alrighty. Off to a great start. We got a decent amount of stuff. We do have a substratum core, so we won't have an omphalos, so no super fast building, but that's okay. What are we dealing with here? Wow, yeah, that is a river. Jeez, bro. Look at all of these vents and all these little algae clumps, and then we got the base over here. Okay, that is pretty beefy. And interestingly enough, the only way to get barite looks to be over here, because I think, yeah, we've got some kinetic propulsors. I feel like this is a hint to use kinetic propulsors to cross the lake. Wow, there's already some barite querns and quarries over here, which is rather interesting. And a radiation reactor, which is outputting power. That's not too bad. We could probably come over here and grab barite as soon as possible. But okay, stop yapping. Let's continue to look at what we actually have. We've got a nice little obsidian biome over here, a little slag lake. Plus, we've got this little bridge over here, and I believe there's a second bridge over here. This one's defended, so we will probably have to put our defense over here. And then we can also probably defend at the bridge because, you know, crossing bridges is rather difficult when they're pinned down. Continuing on with the base, looks like they've got a lot of pumps here. Oh my god, they have a lot of pumps here. Okay, we got some myriads, we got some cavalier, we got some shaft. They've all got water cooling, as expected. That does make a lot of sense. Got some more beefy Crosium turrets over here. Got a core right there. Obsidian biome, looking pretty good, just standard obsidian production. We got whatever this is. Is this a schematic that I should take? So this looks to be a discharge generator lithium power setup, which, you know what? Let's just take it. We might as well. Another schematic to the collection. Yep, looks pretty good. A little bit expensive on the everything front, but hey, it's a power schematic. What are you going to do, right? All right, over here we got some more turrets. We got some air units. I have a feeling we are going to be using the air units for this sector, mostly because, yeah, there's a river going through the entire thing, so we can move them over the river because air units obviously aren't going to sink, and we can avoid this giant wall and attack from this side, which is probably a good idea. But, oh god, right, okay, it looks like we also have tier 4 production because we are up to the progressive constituent. Yep, that's going to be fun, and there's 4 of them, so, yeah, we might want to pick it up here. Okay, got another wall over here, got another power over here, we've got, why are these glowing red? I have no idea. Are they active right now? I have no idea, but we got more. I think those are tier 3s, actually. Okay, so that's not too bad. Tier 3s over there. Barite area over here. We got a substratum that is very protected, and another wall over here that we saw in the beginning. Okay, a lot of stuff to do, a lot of base to attack. Tier 4 is going to be the option for attack, unless we can use Dresden. Looks like we can't. Dresden is banned. I kind of saw that coming, but that's okay. Let's get some basic resources and get going. Alrighty, here we are back. We have a bunch of Fahrenheit, a bunch of Dematite, a bunch of Lodestone, a bunch of Lithium, and a bunch of Obsidian, and we just connected the Barite. And now we need to upgrade everything, because we're going to need a lot of resources, I have a feeling. Mostly because I'm getting a little worried about all these bridges, because, yeah, this is going to be interesting. I don't know what the waves are going to look like, and I don't know when the Tier 4s are going to start being built, but we're going to need to be prepared for that. So we probably should start adding in our Lodestone basins wherever I keep them in my schematic area. Here they are. We're going to throw in 3 of these. That's usually what I do. I believe in Omega I actually had to use 4 because I kept running out, but there's not a whole lot of resources around here. There's a decent amount kind of in this area here, but there's not a lot, which is not so good. We did manage to scrape together 6 Fahrenheit per second though, so that's what we're going to be using for the basins. So let's do these next. And for water in this sector, I don't see a reason to ever use the exothermic pumps because there's quite literally an entire river worth of water here. There's literally no point to waste lignite on that. So we're just going to use the tiny pumps, and we're going to use a lot of them. And since all of this is actually basically ready to go, the switch over to the basins is probably the smoothest switch over I think I've ever had, which is good because it was always annoying. Every single time I try to do this, I run out of lodestone, and this time I think we actually managed to get it where we haven't ran out. I'm very impressed. Absolute miracle. How have we done that? I don't know. And there we have it. Lodestone is now upgraded. Perfect. The next thing I think we probably should do is upgrade corrosium, or I guess acquire corrosium. Now, what's going on here? Looks like we don't have enough hardened sand. That is not a surprise at all, considering I have not upgraded the pipe yet to the full capacity one. That would probably help. There we go. That should be pretty good on the lodestone front. Let's get some corrosium. Now, I know we're going to need a lot of water, so let's just go ahead and throw in a bunch more pumps, because we might as well. This is a serious sink on our lodestone, but luckily we are producing so much now that hopefully this will not take longer than 10 seconds to build. We are going to also have to figure out what we're going to do for defense. Not a whole lot of resources on this side, and that's kind of concerning. Luckily, they are able to freely walk through each side, so we could realistically wall off this bridge here. I don't know if that would actually be worth it, because I feel like they could just walk over the water. Although I'm not really sure how that works. Can they walk over this? I feel like they might just try. I mean, they won't be able to go anywhere, but I basically just don't want them to hit my barite. Because if they hit the barite, that's obviously going to be a problem. So let's just disregard the defenses yet again, as I always do, and we'll get some corosium instead. Well, welcome back to the standard issue on every single sector that I ever go to. Lodestone is still a problem. Considering I have 3 of these, I'm still disappointed that that is a problem. Why is that so bad? I don't know. Lodestone is used for literally everything. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, well, there we go. These infusers are now plugged in mostly. I just need to actually plug them into power. This will not be generating enough power to run all of them. That's not my problem right now, though. I just need to have some power. There we go. That's going to be making 120 plus the 360 we're going to get from the power schematic that I'm going to slap down right here, assuming I can find a place where I don't need that connector node. I don't actually think I'd need that for anything. I could be wrong, but whatever. It's fine. Let's just slap this down. We are going to be here forever because we need more lodestone, but that's fine. Once we get this power all connected into this grid as well, then we will have nothing to worry about, and corosium will be coming in. Now, enemy production has just begun, so that means some of the factories have turned on. We probably should figure out which ones have actually turned on. It's not the tier 4s, which is good. It might be these guys, yes. Tier 3s are being built, so we are going to need to build defenses very, very quickly. Where are they going to go is the question. I feel like they may want to go this way, and I don't really want that to happen. So I think I'm going to go attempt to wall off the bridge. If it doesn't work, we're going to perish. If it does work, then they'll go down to the other side and we can get our defenses down over there. That is the hope, after all. This is very similar to another sector that I've done that had bridges. I wonder what. But at least we have some corosium, so we could probably make some on-site lithium and make some Typhoon Myriad as our defenses for the time being. Eventually we will branch into vesmonium and maybe we can slap down a Tralux and some vesmonium walls. But for now, obviously, we do not have the facilities for that. But since we did have a lot of time to gather up resources by walling off the side over here, I think we may actually be able to get this power schematic done. And yes, they are in fact going this way. We are going to have to hurry over here though, because they're en route. and that's not good. So let's go over here and grab lithium as soon as we physically can and build a Typhoon. I feel like the Typhoon just does a really good amount of single target damage. That is its entire purpose, after all. So hopefully we can do that. Are we going to have to fight some tier 3s by hand? Maybe. Oh my god, why do I do this to myself every single time? I literally said, I know what I'm doing, and I'm still going to do it anyway. Am I stupid? Okay, now where are they? Are they getting close? Oh, they're getting close. Oh god, we're gonna have to hurry it up. Come on, come on, come on. We can do this. There's just enough time, I think, to actually get this in. Typhoon, boom, right here, and let's get it walled off with barite. Hopefully that tree doesn't get in the way. Good. And I think we just about managed to get this turret in before they got here. That's a miracle. We probably should put some more in, so let's do that. This is a little far away, so we may want to kind of redirect them this way. We do not really have the barite to do this, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Yeah, that literally used every single piece of barite we owned. I think that was worth it, though. And let's go ahead and put down another one right here, and we're going to need to get some power and mender capability over here. We can do that in a second. Hey, why don't you shoot at me instead of my turrets? Thank you. Now that thing should just die. Okay, we do need some more of these. I did see that coming, that's fine, and we do have a decent amount of Crosium, so I may just want to chuck in a couple of walls. Yeah, we might as well do it. Alright, fine. I do not want the enemies getting through. Now that little walker guy, yeah, hopefully this will hold up for at least a little bit. I doubt it though. We need to get some menders in here as well. I did not build this very well. We're going to come back and rework this. I just needed to get something temporary for the time being so I can focus on other things. I don't know what else I'd be focusing on right now. Probably building power schematics, getting more barite, and figuring out why the Crosium is going so slow. Why are we still at minus 110? That doesn't really make sense. I think it's because I took out a connector node. Yep, that's why it was. Okay, so that connector node is actually needed, but I can just run some power nodes. Okay, it's fine. Crosium is good to go. This is about as high as we're going to get. Lithium we do need to upgrade, and I did not leave a lot of space for myself to upgrade, which is minorly inconvenient. We're also going to try to somehow scrape together 4 lignite from that vein, or we could come over here and do it here. Somehow this is actually 4 per second, and you know what I just realized? We can't actually bring the resources in there because I cut everything off before I could actually put things into the lithium compactors. That's extremely annoying. So we're going to have to build some regular boring pipes for the time being. We needed like 100 more pieces of lithium and then everything would have been fine. There we go. We are upgraded. Everything is good to go. We are now making a lot more lithium. Okay, boom. Basic resources are in. We are pretty much set on everything except for barite. That will come later. Let's actually do some things first, like upgrade the defense. Wow, look at that. Me upgrading defenses? Unheard of. But we're going to need it, so we may as well just do it now. Now, how do we actually want to build this thing? We could just, like, build the wall like this, and then kind of have it run along the ridge over here. I feel like that's going to be a pretty good idea. So let's give that a try. We are going to have to wait for this guy to get through, but we can probably start planning out where some things are going to go while he's coming over here. There we go. If we run the wall along like this, then we can keep this defense kind of intact for the time being, and that will be pretty good. So let's go ahead and grab some power schematics because we are going to need menders. And we can also eventually put down a couple of tray looks. And since we have a whole lot of space over here, let's just chuck it down right here. Honestly, we might just want to run with Cavalier in the front. That might be a good idea, you know. And it looks like we are out of lithium. Absolutely no surprise there. And I am going to throw some obsidian walls on the front of this. They do have less health than Crosium, but we are making more, and we have 2.2 gauges kind of saved up here. So it's probably going to be a good idea to use that. Could have used lodestone as well, but whatever, let's just use obsidian. Lodestone would have been faster, but oh, okay, really? All right, and we are going to have to throw in some batteries, of course, because we are running a powered turret defense, at least for now. We are going to be putting some Typhoon in the back here. Do these guys give shocked? Oh, they do. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? Okay, so let's see here. We're probably going to want to have 1 billow in each side here. Unfortunately, Cavalier cannot be cooled with water, but if we are going to be running the water line like this, that means we can put the Typhoon here, and they will also get water cooling, which is going to be perfect. All right, and there we go. That is a pretty good defense. Let's get some water ran over here and throw in the last couple of Typhoons. They're going to be running on lithium, and I do need to put an ammo box down, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Put a couple down. We might as well. We're probably going to be needing them. Yeah, that thing is not going to last very long. Okay. Very good. This defense should hold up for a decent amount of time. That lets me get some more barite, build some more power schematics, and maybe start producing some healing units because building is extremely slow and I'm getting really annoyed. So that might be a good idea. You know what? Let's go do that now. Hopefully we don't need a whole lot of resources to actually do this. I can never remember what you actually need to build these things because usually I don't because it's so much effort to put them together. Guess we'll find out though. What do we actually need for these? Why is it rotated that way? Why are you rotated that way? I built it like this, did I not? It doesn't matter. Alright, well there's our support assembly bay. That's going to take forever to build, and we now have about 3 minutes until the tier 4s show up. I don't know if this defense is actually going to hold up. We probably will want to expand this in the near future, aka literally right after I build the tier 5s. Maybe I should... Tier 5s? Brother, I'm building tier 1s. Oh. Maybe we should do that after we get some more barite. Barite's kind of useful, you know. Probably should also get some better source of power, because our current power sources is, again, literally just expansion tank solar panel setups, and that's obviously not the greatest. But now that we have these guys, we may be able to afford to eventually build the diffusion reactors again, which would be quite nice. So let's go grab some more barite now while those little guys are building up. Let me make sure to set the output to not sit in the same place that they get produced, so then they can actually, you know, produce more than one. Oh wait, I just had a thought. I like this idea. And I'm actually going to go ahead and save this schematic because I keep forgetting to do this, and I use them all the time. Yes, I'm well aware that this is a zipper, but liquid zippers are better than the item zippers because liquids flow very quickly, so I'm not concerned about it. If you are concerned about it, you can go take it up with whoever made this, aka me, and I will disregard your opinion. Thank you. If you've ever seen a strain on lodestone, this is going to be it. There's a lot of lodestone in this. Oh my god. But we're going to be swimming in the barite, so I am more than happy to do so. That's also going to take half a year to build, which is mostly the problem because we got 42 seconds. And I am not convinced that this defense will hold up, especially with these obsidian walls here and not a whole lot of typhoon in the area. Yeah, we're going to have to speed this up. Come on, come on, come on. How many luminaries do we have? Probably just like 1 or 2. Yeah, that's not good. You know what? Let's have them pathfind their way down to the defense, actually. How about all of them? Yeah, let's do that. Then they can help out maybe just a tad, and that might do something, hopefully. Let's also grab some water. We are going to need, I think it's 6 per, so 1.5. So we need 21 pumps, aka just put down a whole bunch until I think that's around 21. Yeah, that's probably more than that. And also, it looks like we have 29 minutes before the escalation takes place. That's concerning. What happens in half an hour? Is it the tier 4s? Okay, so these tier 3s are now active. Oh, interesting. So I bet the tier 4s actually start in half an hour. Interesting. So I am convinced that it'll hold up then. We should be fine. That is quite a substantial amount of barite. We are still getting liquid barite in all of these, and that will hopefully, you know, increase our production. I have a feeling it will be perfectly fine. Okay, this is the one that doesn't have a lot of power, but it is just receiving, so I don't really think that's too much of a concern. Okay, we have 29 minutes. That's a lot of time. I think we should try to build tier 4 air units, which does mean we are going to have to go make some vesmonium. So basically, I need to go back to the barite area and make more. Let's check to make sure our wall's holding up. It literally hasn't even been touched, but we do need to go grab some water to put into our billow. So let's actually do that first. But there we go. That should be increased. These should have water in them. These should be water cooled. Very, very nice. Now, since we do have a lot of barite, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade these walls. So let's just go ahead and do that now. And unfortunately, since the barite walls have a radiation damage, you can't just like overwrite them, which is a shame, but I understand. Let's see how fast they go out. Okay, you know what? This defense is going to be perfectly fine. I think our next order of business, though, is collect vesmonium, build up enough stuff to build the tier 4 constituent. 600 is quite a bit, but hopefully we can get a decent amount of the stuff. And also, we will not have to cut our production in half to grab Dresden this time because it's obviously banned. So that's good. I don't know how many actual vesmonium occulters I'm going to throw down. Maybe just the 1, depending on how much barite I can actually get. I have not done the actual, like, testing when you put it on the barite tiles. It says it needs 2.4 of each per second, which, by the way, is a lot. But if you boost it, I think this needs more. And it's really hard to tell how much more it needs. So I don't know. Let's just throw down 2 of them, and we're going to chuck as much of everything that we can into there, and then just kind of hope. We do have another barite lake down here, which we are going to use to grab, you know, barite, obviously. We could also throw down a bunch of power schematics over here, but, I mean, we do have radiation reactors, which is going to help our power issues, but, you know, I don't know. The reason I'm adding this power is so we can, A, power the vesmonium occulter, and B, maybe put some advanced drills on the lignite deposit that I spotted up here. I don't know how much it's going to actually help. We get 1.8. That's about the max I can get. Is there any other areas with lignite down here? I expected not, so I think we're just going to have to go with what we got. Okay, so that should be our vesmonium occulter. This does need power. Luckily, we are making 60 from these solar panels. Plus, we have an additional 400-ish from the radiation reactors. So we should be able to just plug this in like that, and we should be good to go. And there we go. Vesmonium has been acquired. Now, the real question, how are we going to get this vesmonium out of here? Well, I have an idea. We can use cargo stations. Unfortunately, I don't think there's actually vents over here. Can we build the pipes over this deep water here? No. And you know what else we can't do? We can't do the liquid silo trick, which I didn't know existed, by the way. Let me explain. So last episode we were going after Molten Heights, and I was complaining that you couldn't use liquid bridges over water because they just wouldn't get placed. And everyone was talking about the liquid silo trick, and I didn't know what it was. So here we are taking a look. As you can see, this is deep water. You can place an aqueduct over a piece of deep water if it is adjacent to a piece of not deep water. So there's not deep water here, you can place one here, but since this is not adjacent to anything, you cannot place it. Same thing goes for corners. Since there's nothing adjacent, the corner doesn't count. But you can kind of get around that by using a liquid silo, because this is technically placed on the beach, so you can place an entire liquid silo right there, and if this is placed on the beach, you can, again, do that with the liquid silo. Unfortunately, I think this river is too thick to actually cross, and also vesmonium isn't a liquid, so I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but you can see the picture. Are we running out of lignite? Can we afford to put another one of these down? We might be able to. You know what? Let's just do it. What's the worst that could happen? We get capped on resource production? Wow, who would have thought? I never would have seen that coming. Hey, and there we go. We got some more vesmonium as well. Perfect. Okay, so I think we are going to have to go with the kinetic propulsors, which is fine, which does mean we are going to have to place a power generator down. So that's slightly inconvenient, but I mean, let's be honest, this is going to help us anyway, so it is not really that big of a deal. All right, and then we can get a kinetic propulsor, run it across this, and run it into a new line. Real question, does output need power? Yes. Why? I have a feeling since it's output, it really doesn't need a lot, so let's just kind of chuck that down and see if it still receives. It looks like it does. Does it receive at full efficiency is the real question. And there you have it, folks. Vesmonium is in the core. All right, let's go ahead and start transferring some resources over to the production of tier 4 air units. I think that's what we're going to go with. I have not used them yet, so, you know, that's also something that's great. I do want to eventually use every single type of unit. I have no idea when we're going to be using the tier 5 healers. These things are expensive, dude. Force field, vesmonium walls, project, or I think that's a Verite. Okay, whatever, but that's a lot. But you know what? Someday we'll do it. Okay, come here, fellas. We need to build this. Also, I don't even know the resource cost for these. Hopefully it's not stupid expensive. Looks like we've ran out of Verite, Barite, vesmonium. How? I said a turret's name, and then a resource name that is not even closely related to vesmonium other than the fact that it's used to make it. So it takes large missile auto forges, lithium walls, a myriad, and chromium walls. Now this might be one of those situations where we actually want to plug in the constituents, because you can input resources into there. You know what? We can scavenge some lithium from our ammo line. This is usually not recommended, but if I upgrade this and have it priority flow to the ammo, I feel like that's going to be our best option. I really appreciate the intelligence of these luminaries. They're so smart. Let's just walk through the quicksand. Oh my god, guys, are you stupid? Okay, well, there we go. There's our lithium coming in, and I think we're actually going to need more things that use lithium. Does the myriad use it? Yes, it does. So let's go ahead and get that one down. I have a feeling we're going to be needing our median assembler. Nope, we're going to need the progressive one, because that builds the myriad. Okay, let's put that one right here. We can route some lithium from there. Oof, and that takes nitrogen. That is unfortunate. We are going to have to get some obsidian over here. I have a plan for that. We'll deal with that in a second. Also going to need some Fahrenheit. That is why I left this stuff over here available. Alrighty, there is plenty of Fahrenheit. We're going to run some of this, obviously, into this thing right here, and we are also going to run some into a couple of lodestone basins over here. We're just going to chuck down, I think, 2 of them. I think this is a little overkill, but I'm not really super concerned about overkill at the moment. And also, it looks like we are capped out on luminaries, but we do have another core tile over here, so I might just go chuck down a Petra real quick. Unfortunately, we do not have the resources to build any of the upgraded ones, which is a shame, but I understand. I do not have a whole lot of dematite. We may want to go upgrade that. And also, lithium looks like it's kind of lacking, which I guess we use lithium a lot in middle game stuff anyway, so that does kind of make sense. All right, so next up, we're going to need chromium for this, and we are going to need some obsidian for something. I believe the large auto missile forge thingies take that. Okay, so that is where our barite comes in, and that is where our obsidian also comes in, which is the next thing we were going to get, because we're going to need some more chromium. And since we have so much water, and we're going to go actually upgrade the water because I feel like we're running a little thin on the waterfront at the moment. Probably not, but it is always better to be safe than sorry on water. And then we're going to go run some obsidian coolers if I can actually figure out how to get those to go, because slag is kind of covered in trees. Yeah. All right, well, let's see how much I can get out of this. Yep, there we go. We've got enough for 3 slag coolers. That will be perfectly fine. That'll give us a solid, like, what, 12 obsidian per second? 9. Okay, you know what? I'll take that. Alrighty, there we go. Obsidian has been acquired. 3 cooling molds are in. So we're going to need some chromium, so we also should probably figure out actually how much we need. We need 60, plus we're going to need the 4 walls, and we're also going to need 20 chromium times 4, so that's 80, plus we're going to need 60. That's 140 chromium in the build time of this thing, which is 150 seconds, so that's literally less than 1 per second, so a single chromium synthesizer will actually be enough to fully supply this. Okay, well, that was kind of a waste on the obsidian time front, but that is not really a huge concern, I guess. And there we have it. Chromium is coming in. Now, we are going to want to put a storage of some sort for the chromium here, mostly because this thing is going to be making exactly enough or a little bit over to run one of these, but if this is all going at the same time, it's not going to be able to back up enough, so we want to have some kind of storage as a buffer, just to make sure that this thing is constantly producing chromium. All right, so there we go. That has everything supplied to it. This has now everything supplied to it. This has everything supplied to it, and this just needs some obsidian. All right, there we go. Resources have been pushed to everything. Next up, we're going to need a nitrogen synthesizer, so let's go ahead and place one of those down. This is very, very easy to run. And there you have nitrogen. That was simple. Yep. 1 large pressure tank with 3 solar panels is enough to fully power this and supply it with pressure, which is why it's always nice to build nitrogen like that. There we go. Nitrogen supplied it to those. This thing is still running. Yes, it is. Next up, we're going to need pressure. All right, there we go. Pressure's done, and now all we need is power. And what am I going to do for power? Well, I think you can probably take a guess. This takes 90, this takes 90, this probably takes less than 90, 60, and this takes not at all, and that can be summed up in a simple, I'm too lazy to build any actually good power schematics because they take so long, let's just build one of these. And if we do this, we can also go ahead and connect it up to the main grid over here to power our defenses. And there you have it. Quant are now being built. Okay, well there we go. Now all we have to do is wait for units to be built up. We also have a decent amount of vesmonium, so I think it's probably about time we beef up our defenses just in case. But before we do that, there is one thing that I need to do. I forgot to read the lore for Omega. Yeah, I completely forgot that was a thing. And also, there's a whole bunch of lore here as well. I don't know if I'll be reading this, because that's a lot, but let's go ahead and read the one for Omega. Because of these 2 major catastrophes, Asthosus' atmosphere was almost completely destroyed. As a consequence, temperatures on Asthosus rose slowly, but constantly, with nothing the Asthosians could do to stop it. At some point, all attempts at saving Asthosus, or to be precise, its people, were futile. The planet's entire population was wiped out by the extreme heat. Asthosus' fate has taken its course. Yep. They got wiped out by a bunch of catastrophes and then all died. It did not end up in a huge war, although there was a huge war, but that's not how they ended up. It was environmental damage that got them. Skill issue, should have taken care of your planet. And since there's quite literally 100,000 different entries on the resources, I will leave that as an exercise to the viewer. If you were to play this mod, you can go ahead and read all about the resources, because that's a lot, and I'm not reading that right now. Instead, we have to focus on attacking this base and upgrading our defenses. Alright, yeah, that looks like a much better defense. And what is going on over here? Why are we not building this? Is it chromium? What happened to the chromium? Oh no. We ran out of water. Oh, yeah, right, because the nitrogen synthesizer is right on the water thing. Okay, well, that was a huge waste of time. Okay, well, anyways, there's about 6 minutes left. Our defense is looking pretty beefed up. I don't think we're going to have too much concerns with it. I would like to throw in a force field, assuming I left enough room. I did not. We can go ahead and take out a couple of these extra typhoons that I put up here. And there we go. Now, another thing that we can do is we can put down the little force field auto turner on her. And it looks like this does have the capability to attach to multiple projectors, which is cool. Those force fields will turn on when an enemy gets close. Very nice. And turn off when there isn't one, which saves us on power. We probably should chuck down a couple more power schematics because we do rock the minus 1,000 power when there are no enemies here, or when there are enemies here, I should say. It's just a waiting game now, so I guess we could throw in some power schematics of some kind. I don't really know. Maybe I'll just set up a quick 1 diffusion reactor. Is there vents nearby? Yes. And there you have it. That is 1 diffusion reactor ran off of 3 lignite, because I am not throwing down 1,000 solar panels, because I didn't really want to have my units walk all the way up here, walk through quicksand, to let me build it, and then walk back through the quicksand. So there we go. Got a little bit more extra power, 2,000. Okay, I say a little bit more extra. This is way overkill. And into the main grid you go. There we go. That is a solid 2.5k power. That should hopefully withstand every single thing they have to throw at us. Enemy production is increasing in 1 minute, and I did not mean to do that. Please move, Mr. Taquant. We are going to go attack some things. Now, how is the range on this? This is the one that shoots the lightning balls. And it does stop moving when it shoots the lightning balls. So we are going to have to be a little careful. And I'm thinking we may want to go attack... Let's actually just go take a look at what we're dealing with here. I can definitely outrange a Sendrit. I do not think I can outrange Instaro, which could be a potential problem. Maybe I want to go this way, because if we do get down to here... Ooh, we're going to have to fight this. Consites are single target, though, so that shouldn't be too bad, but there is a lot of them. Ugh. Yeah, but if we do get down this way, we can start destroying stuff. I think that's going to be our best option. Let's start patrolling over here. And I'm also going to set this output to go there. So when we have some more, we can, of course, have them go that way, and we can keep them on the front line. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good so far. Hopefully this guy will be able to take out some things without getting obliterated. If it does get obliterated, we can always just run a little power schematic over here and put down some menders and keep trying to fix this thing up while we're building up a whole attacking force. And then once we have like 3, 4, 5 of these guys, we can send them in a nice push and destroy everything. Let's see how far this thing actually goes. Okay, so it goes to about here, so that's not too bad. So we can probably go down to right here and outrange a whole bunch of everything. Oh yeah, we can definitely hit some menders here. I don't think our missiles are doing much, but that lightning ball does some serious damage. And it looks like their range is to about here, so I can even scoot up to here probably. Oh yeah, that lightning ball is going deep into their defense. Okay, so I need to back up here because the Ascenders are hitting me. Let's back up it just a tad, and there we go. Let's go ahead and take these guys out next. And they were constantly shooting me with a bunch of barite ammo, and it did next to nothing. Wow, okay. That's got me slightly concerned for my own defense, because, like, barite ammo Ascendrit, that should be doing a decent amount, you'd think, but I guess not. Alright, we are taking out menders, though, so we're doing good. We just cut off ammo. Wait a minute. Dude, these lightning balls are insane, by the way. Like, this is ridiculous. I can see why everyone recommended me to use these. Yeah, they're quite good. It looks like we got half an hour until unit production escalates again? What else is going to get built? Yeah, tier 4s are under construction. Oh! That does kind of make sense, to be fair. These guys are pretty strong, as I'm literally demonstrating right now. But it looks like we got the tier 4 tank, which is called a Aphalops, and then that is the Apex. Okay, let's go ahead and push the rest of this stuff. There it goes. Turrets are down. We should just be able to walk our way through here and destroy everything. We are going to have to... Ooh, back to... Oh, that's vesmonium as ammo. That's going to be a problem. Okay, can we even reach? We can reach the walls, and they aren't mended, so I feel like we should just do that. Yeah, vesmonium concite was not on my concerned list, but it definitely is now. Right, how are we going to push this? Because that's going to hurt. All right, let's go ahead and peep the defense. How are we going to be doing? I think we should be fine. Okay, so they do get pretty far, and also another thing to be concerned about is there's no water in the billows because I never put a router over here. Oh my god. Well, that was stupid. Okay, much better. All right, now how are we going to deal with this? I feel like it might be just about time to send this guy to his death and then see if I can wrap around the side and see what happens. I don't think this is going to work, but it might be worth a try. I also could try to, like, sneak into the corner here. Yeah, I'm actually decently close over here. Okay, so that hit the wall, so that's got to be doing something, right? I mean, I'm still getting hit, but they can't see me. So as long as I don't shoot too many missiles, I won't take too much damage. And we can eventually chip away at this wall and get, like, a breach going. There we go. Got the wall down. Very good. You know what? I think I'm just going to sacrifice this guy. You can go right there. And, here we go. I'm going to see if I can get in pretty close here and do some real damage. Looks like not, and I am now stuck in place because I'm shooting a lightning ball. Okay, well, we just lost both of our units. That was to be expected, but we did do some damage to the turret here, and these two are now out of ammo. Okay, it's just this one. This one's out of ammo. This still has some, but it's pretty heavily damaged, so we do just have to wait for a couple more of these guys to build up. Speaking of which, we have one right now. Cool. Alrighty, well, I did manage to take out this turret and a couple more walls, which is good. I think the next push we're going to do is we're just going to run straight down and try to just zap a whole bunch of this stuff. I don't know if it's going to end up working or not, but we do also have enough resources saved up to build a nice core, and we're going to build a summit this time, mostly because we usually don't. So there we go. Boom. Now we have a tier 3 core. Very nice. And we could also build an omphalos once we have more dematite, which is something I'm not gathering in large quantities at the moment, so I may want to upgrade my drills, but at the same time, it's not really a huge concern. We do have 15 minutes until the Taquant start showing up. I'm really not that worried about it, to be honest. I think our defense is pretty solid. We do have to come over here and repair the shielded walls every now and again, but let's be honest, that's kind of expected. And these things do go down decently quick. I think the tank is the one that lasts the longest, mostly because the Oasis water we're not making a whole bunch of. So what I think I should actually do is throw in some liquid tanks over here, and then once that's done, we can keep pushing. We do also have 2 of our own Taquant, both right here, plus the one that we already have over here, which is nice. So I feel like I'm going to send this one over to here. We can send another one straight out, and then I can drive one over down here. Or we send both of these guys at the same time. But the whole point of a concite... All right, so you are going to want to push here. You are going to want to push there. Actually, let's just have you push down here. And I am going to go... Actually, I'm just going to travel. So let's go. Distraction, 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 and I can get pretty close. Here we go. Hopefully this lightning ball will do a decent amount of damage. That was actually worth it. We did get one of the turrets down. That's actually good. Perfect. Okay. We may be able to take this one out depending on how close we can get. So we can get basically to here. So if I can sit right there and maybe attempt to hit that concite, that might be really good for us, because then we can actually start making some progress. Alrighty, we are back. I've got 3 more Taquant built up. I've also cut a further hole into the wall. This is the one that we destroyed last time. I took out some more walls this time, and this concite now has no ammo. Let's see what we can do. We got a mender. That is good. We have taken a mender out. So now this side is now completely undefended, and we can start taking it out, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. Check on the wall real quick, because we haven't checked on it in a good while. Lost a couple shields, but that's to be expected. And how are we doing against the Taquants here? I don't think they've even showed up yet. So, you know what? I'll take it. They are going this way, right? Okay, no, they haven't even been built, but that is what's going on. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's try this. You're going to go right there. You're going to go right there, and I'm going to try to plow straight into the core. Here we go. Okay, we got one mender down. I think if we keep putting lightning balls in there, we might be able to get all of them. Oh, menders are down. Perfect. Now it's just a matter of time. And we have another guy straight over here. I think we all know what that means. Time to sit here, hope a tiny little lightning bolt will hit the core eventually, and we just keep plowing until we get it. All right, how's our wall doing? Are we doing fine? It does do a little bit more than I would hope, but it looks like we are holding up perfectly. I think we're going to be perfectly fine. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can actually hit the core from here. We definitely can if I don't aim at the vesmonium wall. Oh, absolutely we can. All right, well, it's only a matter of time then. And boom, core is down. Unfortunately, it did not violently explode like I hoped it would, so we now just have to deal with a whole bunch of turrets. Ugh, yeah, that's gonna be annoying. I feel like we may just want to go for their ammo line back here. See if I can actually do something about this. I think am I close enough? I don't think so. Let's back out. Oh, never mind. Interestingly enough, I think our lightning balls did actually destroy this, because as you can see, the ammo comes in from here, and it's cut off here and here, so I literally think we just have to drain this. Specifically, the single 2 turrets that still have ammo in them. And they're now out of ammo. Very good. Let's go destroy some things. And it looks like they did just randomly slap some syntakes over here, which is minorly inconvenient. Luckily, the lightning can hit them from here. You know, another thing that I realized that I can just do is, instead of destroying the factories, I can destroy their supply of resources. As you can see, all of these are currently being built except for this one. I don't know why this has stopped, but it has. And interestingly enough, it looks like the majority of resources for this factory comes from over here, which comes from here, right next to this core, and completely out of range of all of these turrets over here. So we're going to go fly over there, and we're going to cut off the resource production, and we are going to stop the enemy's entire unit production, and then we are going to just sit here and shoot everything until it stops. And there we go. The units have officially stopped Ben. And there we go. Units have officially stopped Ben. What am I saying? And there we have it. Unit. I can't speak. I can't speak. I can't do it. And as you can see, the unit production has officially been stopped. They no longer have access to, Corrosium Obsidian and Lodestone, so all of these should eventually shut off. Let's go ahead and try to take this core out. I believe we can do it. We are out of range of most of these things here. Yep, not concerned at all. This core is going to fall in no time. The only one that's going to be an issue is the one at the bottom, because there is a whole defense in the way, but by now I should have 4 or 5 of these Taquants here, so that shouldn't be a concern at all. And there we go, the core is down. I may or may not have just went to go look at the name of the unit while the core was being destroyed. Oops. And the real question is, how close do you think I can get to this defense before it starts shooting me? Just to here. Okay, I should be able to outrange a decent amount of things here. Yeah, there we go. That's a decent-sized hole in the wall, and somehow that tank still got built. I don't know how you've managed that. But anyways, we should have all of our units down here. Yes, we do. Another thing to note, where on earth are you getting vesmonium from? They've got a little cargo drone somewhere, and I don't know what bro's doing, but he's getting vesmonium from somewhere. Oh, never mind. He's not getting it from anywhere because I've cut it off. Okay, well, I think we know what that means. Oh, well. Look who ran out of ammo because I destroyed your vesmonium production. Boo-hoo. Okay, yeah, I think that's enough explosions. Let's go destroy this core and get the sector over with. I mean, we already know we beat the sector, let's be honest. Oh god, wait. Maybe back it up? You know what? I'm sure we'll be fine. We may lose a couple units, but like, whatever. And there you have it. Sector has been captured. Very, very nice. All right, and let's go check on our defense one last time. How did it end up holding up? Yep, didn't even get pierced. We did lose the shields in front of the projector walls, but that was to be expected. I did not place the barrier projectors in a place where it could cover them, but you know what? That's okay. It held up pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with everything that happened here. All right, well, there we go. Well, I guess that's going to be it for this episode. This sector, it was pretty interesting. I do like the concept of the giant river in the middle, and I am a big fan of the Tier 4 air units. If I ever get stuck on something, I may have to resort back to using them because they are quite strong. Goodbye.